things are not looking good for old Beto O'Rourke. As you know, he was restarting his campaign. He was giving it a kick in the pants in order to get it restarted again. After taking what they consider to be a quiet period. And his CNN town hall did not necessarily go over so well, and I would even argue it over like a lead rock or a lead balloon. There is one particular stat that makes that stinging indictment more than anything else that I can say, and I'll explain it in a moment. So Beto O'Rourke does a CNN town hall, and in that CNN town hall, he's, of course, asked various questions. One question I want to focus on, though, and I'll get back to my point, but one question I want to focus on, the Medicare for All question. Listen to this. And maybe I'll carve this out, but I want to talk about this for a moment. Beto O'Rourke was asked if he supports Medicare for All. Now, he gives this answer, essentially Medicare for some kind of, I'm not quite sure what it is, almost like a public option. And she asks him, why not Medicare for all? Listen to this answer.
America, why not Medicare for all?
I think about Diane. I think about Joey, a young man, 27 years old, that I met in Laredo, Texas. He's been to a doctor once in his life because he does not have insurance. And that doctor told him that he had diabetes, that he had glaucoma, and that he would be dead before the age of 40 because he's not getting any care right now in this country.
Joey better get
Diane, others, they don't have time for us to get to the perfect solution. If we were to start from scratch, maybe we would start with a single payer, but we've got to work with the system that we have here today. The surest, quickest way to get there is Medicare for America.
All right, that is a...
All right, Medicare for America. Medicare for America. And I love that CNN host asked him, why not Medicare for all? Well, Joey is on his deathbed and we don't have time to do this. We got to help Joey right now. We got to get Joey to the med right now. And so we don't have time for Medicare for all. We don't have time for a perfect solution. We have time for this imperfect solution. That answer is nonsense. But understand why that answer is nonsense. This notion that Beto is going to somehow get this over the finish line, but Medicare for all, not so much. Meaning, he can get one over the finish line. Republicans are going to go along with this particular plan. And maybe even these corporate Democrats will go along with this particular plan. But Medicare for all, no. You can get one over the finish line, but not the other. I think that's nonsense. I don't think that's necessarily true. The lift that you're going to get for Medicare for all is going to be similar to the lift that you're trying to get for Medicare for some. And by the way, part of them naming it Medicare for whatever, Medicare for X, is because they want to make people believe that this is somehow akin or similar to Medicare for all. It's disingenuous on its face. It makes me suspicious of it right off the bat. You should name it something else. If you're going to name it Medicare for something, you are being somewhat sinister in your objectives, at the very least the optics. Also, health insurance lobbies have been pushing extraordinarily hard to undermine Medicare for all. Now, part of undermining anything is to give a little leeway on it where people will finally say, okay, I can accept that. But there's no reason to accept that. The problems that were articulated to Beto in that particular one, where Beto was like, I got this guy named Charlie or whatever, and the guy is on his deathbed. He has a gimp leg, and he's riding away from the inside, and he has Ebola, and he's been fighting Ebola, but he's only been to the doctor once. Okay, fair enough. I don't think this guy exists, but whatever. If this guy exists, I guarantee you the time it takes you to get Medicare for all versus Medicare for some. Well, whatever. I'll put that to the side. That answer will be acceptable to some. And like I say, part of the subversion of Medicare for all is to try to offer some. That's a subversion of anything. Okay. We'll give away this much. Is that enough? Is that enough? Macron is doing a difference with the Yellow Vest movement. They want his head. He's like, all right. I get rid of the food tax. I get rid of this. I get rid of this. Eventually, with this notion that there'll be some people that says, okay, that's enough. I'm satisfied with that. And they'll back off, leaving the few people that aren't by themselves. I'm saying that's what they're essentially doing. The same thing with this. Don't let them. For me, Medicare for All is a red line. If the candidate is not supporting it, they're not getting my vote. It's not something where I even need to think about all that much. I don't care who's on the other side. That's my red line. Now, if the candidates themselves were dealing with a lot of people who took that red line, Medicare for All would have to take place, or otherwise the Democratic Party would lose, and they know they would lose in advance because you would have told them that they would have lost. Why do you think NATO is so important? Well, not important, but why do you think NATO is, I guess you can say, effective, or what makes NATO work? Let's say it that way. What makes NATO work? What makes NATO work is that all of them have taken this kind of contractual obligation that if one is attacked, all of them are attacked. It's automatic. It's not this thing of, do we have to think about this process? This process is. What makes that work is that everybody knows that and everybody believes that, as flesh to bone believes it. I'm saying the same thing should be true here. There should be a red line on issues of Medicare for All. I don't give a shit if Satan himself is on the other side of the podium. There should be a red line on issues of Medicare for All. The public needs to, at some point, goddammit, assert itself in regards to what it wants. Nobody's looking for a perfect solution. I have no expectation of Medicare for All being a perfect solution. I do think it's a better solution than anything else they're coming up with, and I do think it's achievable. This notion that, you're going to upset the apple cart. Maybe you should upset the apple cart. People care about their doctors. They don't care about the leeches. And that's exactly what insurance companies are. Also, if you're going to keep insurance companies in this mix, you're going to end up putting all of the sickest people on Medicare for All, and you're going to tank Medicare for All, or the Medicare program. Meaning, you're going to undermine the Medicare program when you're dumping all of the sick people on that particular program. No, Medicare for All has to be for all. If it's going to work, it needs to be for all. Not to mention, it's a better program. It's a better program. The one stat that gets across how Beto failed miserably is this. Right here. Beto O'Rourke dragged down CNN ratings. In fact, it dragged them down by 30%. Fox and one of the other networks beat them. And not just that, John Hickenlooper was more popular. I don't even know who John Hickenlooper is. And he was more popular than Beto. Beto literally was so atrocious that people couldn't watch him. 30% drop in their ratings, even on a normal Tuesday night, of 30% less than that. That is the opposite of momentum. That is the opposite of momentum. That is essentially going backwards. Now, for comparison, Bernie Sanders goes on Fox News. Bernie Sanders has a town hall in that Fox News. Bernie Sanders comes out swinging. And then he calms down because there was this kind of, all right, look, you ask me fair questions, I give you fair answers. I put my gloves down. And he rocked that shit. Rocked it. Utterly amazing. Now, after Bernie Sanders' town hall, for comparison, listen to this. This is amazing. Couldn't believe it. Garland Nixon told me about this today, and I was like, all right, I have to look that up. Come on. Okay, come on. Now it's freezing up. All right, come on.
What do you think about Bernie Sanders? If Bernie Sanders is for getting rid of low-skilled workers, so it's to ensure higher wages
and protecting the border. If he went back to his original position, which is the pro-blue-collar position, I mean, it totally makes sense with him. If he went back to that position, I'd vote for him. I might work.
Let's try this one more time. You may not have recognized the voice. Okay, maybe not. Come on. What the hell, man? What the hell? And why is it spawning all these screens? I played this video before, no issue.
Workers, so it's to ensure higher wages
And
for them.
protecting the border. If he went back to his original position, which is the pro-blue collar position, I mean, it totally makes sense with him. If he went back to that position, I'd vote for him. I might work for him. I don't care about the rest of the socialist stuff. Just, can we do something for ordinary Americans?
That's Ann Coulter. Ann Coulter watched Sanders on Fox News, and he brought down the House, and she's like, I'd work for him. She said, I'd vote for him. I'd work for him. Beto was so underwhelming that he literally lost people that would typically watch CNN. They were watching like Don Lemon and whatnot. They were anything but Beto. And Sanders rocked Fox News to such an extent that Ann Coulter, right-wing, hardcore right-winger Ann Coulter, is like, if he changed his immigration position, I'd not only vote for him, I'd work for him. Oh, love it. I love it. I love it. Absolutely love it. And you know the wild part about that? Ann Coulter is not completely wrong. Immigration is not entirely a right-wing issue. I mean, there is an argument to be made that people who are coming into the country are putting pressure on people at the bottom, meaning this kind of fight between poor versus poor of sorts. She's not entirely wrong, even from this argument of Europe. This has become this kind of right-wing issue. It has become some of this issue out of this sometimes kind of a racist xenophobia of sorts. But there's also an argument to be made from the standpoint of the left that it really needs to listen when people are freaked out by issues of immigration. Because I tell you this, they may agree with, with Sanders and these guys on healthcare, but they agree with Trump on immigration. And the left needs to pay attention to that. There needs to be a left-wing solution to that. And right now, the left is acting like this doesn't exist. All right, I'll end this here. I'm probably going to have to edit this video. But Beto. Underwhelming, Beto. That's really underwhelming, dude. That's not sustainable. As Rachel Maddow says, that's not sustainable. I heard Hickenlooper on Wait, Don't Tell Me. Yeah, John Hickenlooper beats Beto. Isn't that amazing? It's 2 a.m. here also, Hank. Yeah, it's 2 a.m. here also in Richmond. All right, guys, I'm going to end this. If you guys enjoy the content, please feel free to share, like, subscribe. You can always support the PayPal or Patreon. Thanks all.